Okay, so here's another question, and this is a bit nicer because what they've done is they tell you the type of distribution. So we're not left wondering what type of distribution it is. So whenever we do binomial distribution, sorry, what we do is we at least know that we're using that the choose and then the probability of success and the P and so we're wanting our P and Q, basically minding our P's and Q's. So they haven't actually given us a long-winded thing. They've just told us this thing here. So when we look at this, we have to be able to dissect this. So you're going to get something like this where, so we have to know this. This is very important. So if X is our probability and we want our parameters, when I say parameters and you see a B, okay, that is just short for binomial. Okay, so when you see this binomial, B, binomial, that's what that means. So even if they haven't told you binomial distribution, but they'd put a B in there, we would need to know that's binomial. Then the next thing is how many is, so the next thing they tell you is the N. Okay. And then the P, the probability of success there, the P. So that's what that means. That's like shorthand. So so if you've got a pen and paper, write this down because this is important. Okay, you need to know all of these. So this is your success. And N is your trials, your number of trials or number of times you perform something. In this case, the number of books. Okay, so we don't have to know this, maybe necessarily for this, but so if P, we grab our P from there. So our P in light blue is the 0.7. Our N is 12. And what do we have now? So they want to know the greatest number of books that could be read by in a particular year. Find the probability that a member reads this number of books. Okay, so we also know that our Q is 0.3 because, so this little shorthand thing actually tells us a lot. Okay, so let's see. So probability, well, maximum. So the maximum would be 12. Okay, so if I was to do it, the P, that X would be the maximum, right? 12. Then it would be the 12, choose all 12. The probability of failure, well, probability of success versus 0.12, 0.7, and then the times the probability of the failure, which is 0.3, but there's no failures, so that's to the 0. So this just simply ends up being 0.7 to the power of 12. Because this bit, remember from the last question, well, this 12 combination 12, when you put that in your calculator, it becomes 0 because it's 12 factorial over the 12 factorial, and then 12 minus 0, 12 minus 12 is 0 times 0 factorial. We know that 0 factorial is 1, so this all cancels to 1. So in other words, the things that I'm circling, those become 1. And so it ends up being just 0.7 to the power of 12. Can we put that in our calculator?
Yeah, and you get 0.0138.
0.0138. Okay, find the probability that the member reads fewer than 10 books, fewer than 10 books. So in other words, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5. Well, that for me to do that, the one way around, so you've always got to say which way around am I going to do, because fewer than 12 books is like I'm going to have to make x9, x8, x7. Well, that's going to take a long time. We'll have to go all the way. Or I could just find the probability of it being 10 or more and then saying 1 minus that probability. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to say P of X equals 11, 12, and then I'm just going to say 1 minus that. So in other words, what I'm doing is I'm finding the probability of reading 10 or more. P of 10 or more. And then saying 1 minus that answer. Right? And that's going to give me the probability that it's 9 or less. So now I can say, well, 10 or more. So that would be your 12, choose 10. Now my successes is 0.7 to the 10 successes. 0 times 0. That is, let me slow down. Okay, so the 10 successes, right? So it's 12, choose 10. Then the probability of success is that P in blue, right? And there's 10 of them. Then the probability of the 2 failures, because if you read 10, it means you would not read the other 2. So that would be the 0.3 to the 2. Okay, now hopefully in your heads you're now predicting. I'm going to say 12, choose. There's 11 successes. I'm reading 11 books. 0.7 to the 11 books. So my probability of reading 1 book is 0.7. Probability of reading 11 books is 0.7 to the 11. Times the 1 book that I don't read, which is the 0.3, probability that I didn't read that book. Yeah, and finally, 12 combination. 12, well, we already know this, don't we? We just worked that out before. I'm going to do it again, but that was 0.7 to the 12 times 0.3. Sorry, to the 0. Okay, we remember from before this bit ends up being 1. But I know my answer to that. So this last one we've already done, which is this one, 0.0138, because that was reading every single book. Okay, can we work out these ones? Okay, what's this first one?
I did them all together.
Okay. Okay, so you put them all together and you got 0.2528. Now just be careful that you don't put that as your answer. So that's fine. You can put them all on your calculator and you'd be whatever this was plus whatever that was would give you this. Now a lot of students forget that that is just the probability of the being more 10 or more, but of course we want fewer than that. So we say the probability is equal to 1 minus the 0.2528, which gives us 0.7472, right? Which of course, AS levels, we like 3 significant figures. So 747. Okay, so that's question 3, a bit easier than the first one, but maybe also because once you've done one, they start to hopefully get easier and easier. So keep practicing, and I will see you soon.